good friend Pete O'Neill and Richard Huffman joining us on Grace and Glory. Pete, how you doing?
Good morning.
Rich, good to see you. Gentlemen, it's glad to have you here, because in seeing both of you here, it reminds me that around this time of year, a very special effort takes place, right?
Right, exactly. It's the when we do the Kindertime toy drive, and Richard being a partner and a sponsor of the toy drive, it's that time again.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have interviewed and shared and got the news out and the word out about this particular effort for the last few years. I know at least 7, 8 years. I know that you've come since I've been hosting this show. But very rarely have we taken the time to really go back and find out how it got started.
Well, especially with your audience and on the religious side, 20 years ago, 1993, my mother was murdered in East Baltimore. You know, short story, she was killed. She didn't want to move. The neighborhood was changing. And some guys broke in the house and killed her.
Okay.
Fast forward, my wife was a teacher in the city. We started a kids show called It's Kindertime, with a guy called, was involving all the schools.
Okay.
And it ran on Channel 2 for 6 years.
I remember.
And 2 years into that is when we started the toy drive, because my mother became a cold case, and I was really, truly in a black hole. I mean, your audience, if somebody's going through something right now, and you don't think that God can bring you out of it. And I had my questions about religion and God and all the above, but he brought me through that it was a deep, deep black hole.
How did this tie into your coming through?
Well, we started the toy drive. A number of my friends who were homicide detectives and really worked the case became a cold case. And they really worked the case, got the evidence, and convicted the guy. So I said to my wife, why don't we pay homage to those officers who just kept working? They do this every day. They don't give up on stuff. People think they don't have answers sometimes, but the officers and the homicide detectives are constantly working.
Even though you don't hear anything else in the papers.
Exactly. Even though you don't hear anything, or you think they might not be doing anything, they was constantly working my mother's case, and they solved it, and the guy got convicted. And then I slowly started coming out of that black hole, so I said, told my wife, let's do something honoring those officers, and we came up with the toy drive. And we named it It's Kindertime Toy Drive, same as the TV show. And the first year we did like 4,500 toys. We helped the Ronald McDonald House because they had a break-in, and we provided a lot of toys for them. Okay. And then fast forward, last year we did over 65,000 toys.
65,000. Now, Richard, of course, you for the last few years, as well as the Celebree Learning Centers, have been a sponsor of the effort. Did you know the story about how it got started?
I did. Pete came to me and told me his story and inspired me, and you know, as Pete's talking, it's funny how the Lord works, because you know, at Celebree we can collect toys and help other children, but not really knowing where those toys are going or the impact of those toys. But you know, last year and the year before, riding with Pete and seeing those little faces light up when you hand them that gift, and they're ready for us. They're waiting for us. When we go to the Ronald McDonald House, they're all sitting around the Christmas tree, and now they're waiting for us. So it's been a true blessing. It's funny how the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yes, and there's wonders to perform. Out of tragedy comes a great triumph and a blessing. It gave you a mission, if you would, in life, to not only bring some joy to young people's lives, but also help you deal with your own personal tragedy.
Yeah, I cannot tell you how deep that hole was. And I know someone in your audience now might be going through that same thing. How could this happen to my mother, who took care of me? I mean, I love my mother to death. And he's a
good woman.
Oh, beautiful. East Baltimore raised me to be who I am, you know. And when you see that, and I know someone is, how do I come through that? Yeah. Will I come through that? And giving back, seeing these kids, like Richard said, him being a sponsor, major corporation being a sponsor of this show, it just kept moving forward. And I'll say, I used to tiptoe about being, you know, saying something about God did this, God did that, and how would you respond to me if I say that? You know, oh, he's a religious fanatic. I have no problem saying it now. God brought me through this.
So you got delivered?
Oh, I got delivered big time. Yeah. You know, I say it with a smile on my face. I have no shame in saying it. When they say, when you hear the songs and when you play it on the radio, God be the glory. Yeah. It is so not about Pete O'Neill. It is so not about my mom. Wow. It's that this tragedy brought thousands of families, thousands of kids, sponsors like Richard and Celebree, to something that was so bad and made it and turned around to something so good. So the folks that are going through something, just give it time.
Well,
You'll be amazed.
He just said something that sounds so similar to a story I heard about a place called Calvary.
No, not at that level, brother. Not at that level.
But they're similar. But look, we need to find out how those who are watching can be a part and share in this joy. How can they participate in this process or this effort?
To this man here, you can, he'll tell you about how you can drop them off at his places.
You can drop them off, drop a gift off to any of the Celebree locations, or you can actually bring them right here to the station. And then we'll make sure that what's the date, Pete?
The 20th. The 20th.
So they have to receive them by the 20th?
By the 20th of December, and then we'll line them up and we'll take them to these families. But it's an amazing, amazing experience.